Physiology is how the human body adapts to exercise. Let's have a look at the energy systems involved. For the body to perform in sport, there are a number of energy systems it has to rely upon. The duration and intensity of the activity really determines one or more energy systems that are used. An example of an event that uses the alactic anaerobic system is the 100-metre sprint. It produces explosive, short duration, high intensity movements and predominantly uses energy that is already in the muscles. An example of an event that uses the lactic anaerobic system is a 400-metre run. It produces sustained, high intensity movement and uses more energy than the alactic system. Your body begins to react after a minute or two of doing the activity, and in turn you begin to feel the pain in your muscles. An example of an event that uses the aerobic system is a distance running event. Energy demands are lower but need to be sustained for longer periods of time. All sports go across all three energy systems. In team sports, the contribution of each energy system is dependent on the duration, skill and position of the player. Components of fitness are speed, strength, power, endurance, agility and flexibility. Let's see how a coach develops these components.
Speed is your ability to move quickly from point A to point B. You can do this through a series of technical running drills or simply by running fast. Strength is the ability of your muscles to apply force. It can be developed easily using body weight exercises or using the external resistance of dumbbells, barbells or weighted vests. Power is the ability of your muscles to generate force as quickly as possible. You can do this by jumping, hopping, skipping and throwing. Endurance is your ability to perform an activity for a prolonged period of time with minimal fatigue. You can develop it using various activities such as swimming, running and cycling. Agility is your ability to change direction quickly. It can be developed through general or highly specific change of direction drills. Flexibility is the range of motion around a joint or series of joints. You can incorporate stretching at the end of your training session or in a specific stretch session at a later time.
Principles of training are specificity, overload, progression, reversibility, recovery, variety and individualisation. When a coach is planning, it's important that they take into account these principles of training. An example of progression is when a coach gradually increases the training and competition loads so that the athlete will improve their performance. Within this program, there may be a period of overload when a coach chooses to increase volume and intensity for a short time. It's important for coaches to ensure adequate recovery to prevent overtraining, fatigue, injury and illness. The activities that coaches use in their training sessions need to be specific to the requirements of the sport. Take into account the individual needs of the athlete and include variety to keep things interesting and challenging. Finally, at the end of the season, you need to remember the principle of reversibility. If you don't use it, you lose it. Your athlete should remain active over the off-season to maintain their level of fitness. In this program, we've looked at energy systems, components of fitness and principles of training. Coaches should take into account all of these factors when planning to get the best result for their athletes. Ask yourself these questions. What energy systems does your sport use? Which components of fitness are most important in your sport and how can you develop them? How will your training plan incorporate the principles of training?